wanna chug another drink.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Listen to the Vibes, and let's welcome the new Outlaw Band. And I want y'all to introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about yourselves, and we'll get into a really good conversation. So I'll let you fight it out who gets to go first.
Let's start with our leader, Tulsa.
Tulsa, you're up.
All right. Name's Tulsa. Play guitar, lead vocals, songwriting, bunch of stuff, piano, whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
I'm Johnny. I play bass and I do some songwriting, a little bit of singing.
A little bit of singing.
A little bit of singing. I'm trying to do more.
And then down here, well, looking at my screen, you're down at the bottom.
I'm
It's-
Mike. I'm a drummer, kind of engineer, band mascot, overall roadie, and goodwill motivator.
You're the
for all.
gopher.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep it going, moving forward, always.
You're all night outlaw.
All night
all-
outlaw.
All night outlaw, huh? All right, so are y'all all from the same area?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've been here together since '85 here in Vancouver. So since high school, we've been high school pals. We started rocking in high school, grade 11.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
start.
So
That's
Back
that long.
Yeah.
get up at
That long?
Jeez.
he's like, man, it seems longer.
actually jam before school. We'd get up extra early, rehearse, and then go to high school. Like, who the hell
Oh,
does
yeah, my
that?
dad's basement.
Mhm.
Oh,
My dad's basement. We
oh,
all quit our
I'm
job.
going to bed now till wake up time.
I won't tell you what I used to do before high school. So, so were y'all all born in the Vancouver area?
We were, but Mike was, and Steve from Prince George.
Yeah, we're up north. We grew up north, Prince George, BC. Small town, smaller town, kind of semi-rural. You know, we had a forest in our backyard, dirt bikes, rifles. We used to just, do all kinds of crazy stuff. Just go out in the morning and come back at night. So it was kind of a charmed place to grow up as a kid, for sure.
Oh yeah. So is that kind of like y'all's hobbies? Is that like what you do outside of playing music?
I love to go boating. I got
Boat.
a little 8-foot boat,
Okay.
electric motor, and there's lots of lakes around close by. So any chance I get, head out to the lake. All he needs a tent, 24 beers, and a pack of hot dogs, and you're ready to rock. No problem.
No.
Yeah, fishing, camping, dog camping here and there.
And Mike.
Yeah, unfortunately, all my time in between rocking is waiting to start rocking and be with the guys. So yeah, I do stuff with my family and work, but it's always the eye for getting together with the group and playing. It's sort of my biggest personal pleasure. We've been together now for so many years. We can't stop at this point.
Mm,
Same crew, and we get so much fun when we get together.
Mm-hmm.
And the key to our success is, if it's not fun, let's stop doing it. Whether it's we're having a bad night or just generally not feeling it, forget it. It's always got to be
Stay
fun.
home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
If you're not going to be, but generally we're 99% of the time together and having a good time, writing, recording. Just can't get enough of it.
yeah. If the fun's gone, then there is no point of doing it. It's I don't know. It's no
Sure.
fun anymore. Then you totally lost the whole point of it.
That's it.
So what got y'all into country music?
Well, we all have wide taste in music. To us, a good song's a good song, whether it's country, metal, rock, jazz, it don't matter. And I think when we were young, I think our folks always had some kind of country music around. My dad, one of the first cassettes he bought me was a Willie Nelson Greatest Hits for some reason. And this was back in the 80s, and a Beatles Greatest Hits. He goes, here you go. I was like, all right.
Well, see, there's another reason for you to come to Austin because, you know, Willie Nelson doesn't live too far from here.
Hey, I hear he's going on tour soon.
You know what? It doesn't surprise me. That man's gonna tour till the day he's buried 6 feet under.
Yep.
What's your particular favorite kind of music?
I think we're all born and bred, and I think we're in rock and roll, but you know, country music's very similar too. It's got a real rockin' attitude as well, so we're kind of drawn to it.
Country blues.
Country blues, yeah.
Well, you know, whenever we
Folk.
talk about Canada, we always, of course, think of Rush. My favorite band, which is Triumph, and
Awesome.
Wow.
yeah, Rick Emmett to me is like the greatest guitar player ever, and then Brian Adams.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, that's what I grew up on.
Awesome.
Of course,
So,
Brian.
so wait, so
Well-
we were growing up on Willie Nelson, Texas music. You were growing up on Canadian music. Is that what's going on?
It's like an exchange here.
Yeah.
No, actually, growing up, my grandfather introduced me to music, and it was Hank Williams and my favorite country artist, which is Buck Owens, you know, Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, those kind of folks. You know, I like the classic country. I can't get into the new country stuff. I think I kind of stopped at Garth Brooks, and that was as far as I went. Tell me more about y'all.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you mentioned how we got into country. So in the late 80s and through the 90s, we were like pretty heavy duty rock band around town. We all lived together in a house. 8 years ago, it was the party house of the century. It was 3 blocks from a strip bar. And we became kind of a de facto after hours hangout after that bar would close. Dancers hanging out, bikers, all kinds of people. So music going all night long.
Right?
And always by the end of the night, it was end up country music. We would put that on. It was just sort of the most, it would soothe the soul a bit, you know, at about 2, 3, 4 a.m. Let's throw on some Waylon or some Johnny Cash or just something that you could handle the more the throb of the rock. And then that just sort of placated everyone. And you asked earlier how we got the country. It was always there, always underlying. So, and
But
now,
like John says, we have so many influences. Like I don't know why. Like now, when I've been singing, I got a lot of Motown coming out of me.
Oh,
Yeah, from the early days, my mother playing James Brown and stuff like that. It's just like
yeah.
Temptations, all this stuff. I don't know where. And I started singing, and he's, well, you sound like you're doing Motown or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just comes out.
Well, I keep doing it. Sounds good.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, if you stick to just one genre of music, you get kind of, I don't know, boring. It seems to me. I mean, of course, if you're getting in the industry, you kind of pick your genre. If you're going to be a rock star, you're going to be a rock star. If you're going to be a country star, be a country star. But you know, if you have all these different influences, then it shows. You have a diversity in music, and it really helps to fuel.
You gotta let it out.
Yeah, exactly. You got to let it out.
Can't hold it back. Like whether it's a deep blues kind of riff, you just let it go with it. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Because
Come up with a riff.
if you're like me, I don't want to just listen to the same kind of music all the time. It gets boring.
Yep.
So, you know, I have my playlist. I'll have anything from 60s music all the way up to, you know, the grunge kind of stuff.
Awesome.
So always gotta have a variety.
It's kind of like us.
Yeah, it's much better. I remember as a kid, my first experience I think my first real experience to country music was Dukes of Hazzards.
Really?
You know,
Yeah,
and in the Boar's Nest every week there'd be some country act, Johnny Paycheck, whoever it was, and maybe that's why Waylon's still my favorite. I don't know, you know, and I love the stuff, but then I spent some time in the Caribbean. My wife's from Trinidad.
Yeah, we got that too.
I joined a soca calypso band for 2 years. I had to learn that. Now it's coming out in our music a little
It
bit.
does.
You can't help it.
We start playing, all of a sudden we got this
Little, you know, little calypso is coming in. They're like, all
calypso
right,
kind of Jamaican bass rhythms going on, and okay, let's work with
with
it.
a little country twang, and you got to roll with it. You got to go. Yeah. So,
Hey, Now I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I'm not real crazy about them mixing hip hop into country music. It's just not country music to me. What's your
We ha-
opinion on it?
Well, it hasn't come out yet, but I
Well,
can't guarantee it won't.
Isn't that song? No, isn't what's his name in
What's that?
Billy Ray Cyrus and the other.
Oh yeah,
Remember that
is it
song?
Old Town Road? Is that the one you're talking about?
Uh,
Billy-
I'll tell you
Billy-
what. Once I started hearing that mix, I just quit listening to it altogether. So I don't even know. My kids, on the other hand, they kind of listen to that stuff, but I can't get into it. However, I will say I met Kane Brown, and he is a very fine young man.
Oh, that's good.
Actually, did security at his show here,
Mhm.
and it was the end of the tour, so he had set up a carnival in the back of the arena where he was at, and everybody's families that were involved with the group, they got to come. And anyway,
Right on.
he said, hey, y'all come back and join us. So free food, drinks, the whole 9 yards, and
Right on.
just a remarkable young man. I can't say that I know his music, but I do know him as a person, and he's a great guy.
Oh,
So
that's good. My sister really loves him.
really,
Yeah, and I'll let her know. She'll be happy to hear that.
But you know, if you scratch around and look a little deeper, there's some hip hop out there, maybe not country, but there's a certain attitude and a vibe that sort of doesn't come across in a lot of the other stuff. You know, there's the mainstream stuff, but always in the underground lies some good stuff. And I would say the hip hop, it can, definitely can give you an outlaw sort of a feeling. You're looking for that feeling, and some of that stuff is there. Here's a good band for you from Texas, Ghetto Boys.
So what's that?
The Ghetto Boys.
Actually, I think I've heard of them.
They're a Houston band. I don't listen to much hip hop, but I still listen to the Ghetto Boys. Love their attitude, and I know more about Houston through them than anyone else. And but they were always underground, but kept an attitude, and just you never hear them on the radio, but very popular. And so it's there. You just got to be introduced to it in a proper manner, not so much what's presented on a commercial radio. Right.
Mhm.
A question on that. So how's the COVID affected the local scene there as far as live entertainment? Has that been sort of shut down? Bars getting shut down?
Well,
It's
it
happening.
it was shut down pretty good for a long time, and Governor Abbott finally opened up the state. Most of the bars and stuff around here, they're back in full swing. So
Yeah, I think July 1st.
Yeah.
We're gonna be July 1st is our opening here.
really,
Bars, clubs, restaurants, and all that. Yeah. So
well,
see how it goes.
they did get rid of the mask mandate here. I mean, there's still people that goes
really?
around wearing them, but for the most part, most of us don't. We don't wear masks anymore.
Nice.
Nice.
We're almost there.
Almost there, huh?
Almost there.
Well, I mean, this has hurt people like y'all quite a bit because y'all haven't been able to get out and play. Everything's shut
I know.
down, and you can't get a
Yeah.
group of people together.
It's a good thing and a bad thing. I think we've never written so many songs in in a year.
Yeah.
It's been
We're able to
great for that.
Focus on writing, focus on recording, and just looking at just our general sort of playing ability. We're trying to focus on that and get it to the highest level as possible. Nothing else to do. Let's just practice. Right. And
Yeah.
re-
I'll bet your wives are ready to get y'all out of the house now,
They can't wait till we go on tour.
huh? Get out of here, guys.
Second leg. They keep telling us Europe is nice. Yeah.
Speaking of playing live, so we've played live quite a bit as a group, but we've never performed live as New Outlaw Band yet.
Oh, really?
So we have to do our debut concert as this, clump of songs. We played lots of playing experience in the back, but lots of rock and roll and stuff. But this new project, we're yet to do our first
Yeah.
live gig. And we kind of want to just blow people away when we get out there, because we've sort of been not following any sort of trend, any sort of fad, nothing, just completely writing from our sort of heart and what feels good. And I think we've got some excellent stuff to present to people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got introduced to y'all through TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
which, believe it or not, I never even intended to start a TikTok.
Yeah, it's
But-
pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things I've been reluctant to do, but it seems like everybody's on TikTok, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll put up a post on Instagram or Facebook or something like that and hardly get any interaction. But then I put it on TikTok. The next day I go back and 200 people have already engaged with it. And I'm like, what the heck? So
Yeah. Awesome.
yeah,
I think that format lends itself because it is short clips of music. And I think people's attention spans modern day have diminished. As a kid growing up, you get an album, you'd live with that album, back to front, front to back, you just live it. Now it's skip, go forward, boop, boop, boop. It's hard to get that sort of that interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that format lends itself to that. Unfortunately, it's not the. I like living with an album. You're talking about living with an album. I had a Waylon Jennings' Greatest Hits cassette stuck in my player in my car somewhere in the early '90s for 2 straight years. That's all I listened to. 2 years.
Wouldn't come out.
Oh yeah, the Eldorado.
My girlfriend
The
we played this
Eldorado.
back and forth. 2 years. I was like, Christ, I've worn this thing to death. But yet, I know backwards and forwards now.
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, that reminds me, my first car was a Cadillac, and it was a '78, and my 8-track of Leonard Skinner was stuck in there, and it played like
Same
4
year?
songs.
Same years. Boss
Actually,
Hog.
my car was a '74 Eldorado. '74
Here goes
Eldorado.
Boss Hog. driving.
Boss hog.
Painted blue leather, and I was in my 20s. I had big sideburns, and I just thought I was the baddest ass in town, playing Waylon Jennings nonstop. It was crazy. Good times though. I had to get rid of the cars. I was getting like 8 miles a gallon. I mean, it was just.
Yeah, it was a smooth ride, but I barely made it from one gas station to the next.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Cost $5 just to start it.
Now because it's $5 to go one block.
Right. Well, that song "I Know a Little," I have that memorized, and I think people probably believed it when they got in the car with me. They're like, "Yeah, you know very little music because apparently that's all you listen to is Leonard Skinner."
You know what it is? You get that feeling. And you're like, this is the feeling I want to feel. And with Skinner, love Skinner, you're feeling the real, Ronnie Van Zant. It's the real deal. It's not some manufactured. And so, I understand that feeling 100%. Sticking with something for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, as far as my tastes go, I'm kind of stuck in the past, I guess you'd say, but it's what I'm comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I know, and it had meaning for me. That you could tell the feeling in the music, whereas a lot of the stuff you hear nowadays, and I mean, no offense to anyone, but it just seems so manufactured. It's like it's cranked out of a factory and not coming from the heart anymore.
That's a good observation. Feeling. One of the things we're focusing on our recording now, it's easy to record now if you use a loop or you use a process this and that. So we've actually been recording some of our stuff just all together live. No click track, no cutting and pasting, just trying to all together get the same. I'm on the drums, Johnny, he's on the bass, Tulsa on the guitar. We're just trying to get that take together. It's harder than it sounds, but you're trying to capture that feeling, which is so important. You can tell the feeling comes from a slight little lick or a little sigh or something. You can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know exactly what you're talking about when you say feeling in the music.
Yeah, and you capture a moment, and you can't recapture that moment in time. You try to redo it sometimes, and you can't. You got it, but so if it's good timing, you recorded that moment. Awesome.
Well, you talked about the Beatles earlier. Their early stuff was basically that's how they did all their sessions. It was live in the studio, and that's what you got.
Yeah.
You could tell the feeling in it.
Yeah, and you can hear sometimes they have a little mistake. Someone played off or someone sang off, but that's why you like it.
Mhm.
Not perfect. It's great.
Sometimes you listen back to it, you're waiting for that mistake to come.
Yeah. That little bum note, you're like, I don't know, it just makes it more real.
Well, the Leave It All Behind song that
Yeah.
we're working on.
Mhm.
I just did it as a demo, but it turned out good. And I got my cable from my headphone hitting my chair, and the microphone picked it up. So you listen to the song, it's going. So I'm going,
Yeah.
it's hitting my chair.
Just keep it.
Only I hear it maybe, but it's
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
So we just left it. Okay,
Yeah,
mix
it's
it.
part of the
Why not?
kit. And as long as the chord's hitting in time, we're good.
There you go.
Yeah.
You tell you're tapping your foot the right beat.
Yeah. So, we kind of like that, so.
Well, you think about Buddy Holly, when they were recording, they kept hearing something in the background, and it was crickets.
Crickets.
So that's how they came up with Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
My
Mhm.
old man had the 45 Buddy Holly.
Mhm.
That'll Be the Day, and I forgot the other side. It was
Hmm.
45.
Yeah, Tulsa's place, we used to rehearse there. He had an old Buddy Holly record. We kind of go through his old man's record collection. What's in
Yeah,
here?
all the 45s.
We took out the Buddy Holly. We just played it to death. Like,
Actually, my sister took the album,
Hmm.
but there was a
Right.
45. He's got a bunch
Yeah.
of 45s.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
yeah, as kids, you kind of play what you can with.
Mhm.
So here's a funny story. I'm in kindergarten. Here's my first introduction to music. I'm in kindergarten, and it's the end of the year, and it's Lost and Found Day, and every teacher's putting up stuff in the air. Whose pants are these? Whose gloves are these? And she picks up a record. She goes, "Whose record is this?" And no one said anything at the last second. I said, "It's my record," even though it wasn't my record. I took it home, and it was CCR, Willie and the Poor Boys.
Hmm.
So put it on, and blown away by it. And it was the one song on there. It came out of the sky, the fastest song on that record. And we played that to death. And here I'm a 5-year-old child. But that was my original introduction to rock and roll. Was Willie and the Poor Boys, CCR, grade 5, Lost and Found record. I don't have the record anymore,
Another
but
influence right there.
Yeah, love CCR.
Oh, yeah. So what influences y'all to write your music?
Experience mostly. Sometimes we'll just be talking about something. Before we start, as we're setting up, we're jibber jabbering about everything. Criminal, saints, good things, bad things, whatever. And then someone will say something, and then someone else will start singing what he said. And we just wrote a good song the other day, one of our favorites. And why did she break up with her boyfriend? And it turned out to this great idea. We got this great song that we're working on. So it just comes out of experience. And
it comes experience. So, good point. So experience, look at the band name, New Outlaw Band.
Mm-hmm.
Sure that you guys are outlaws, but we are. We had many years of living an outlaw style of life, as a rock band and all kinds of crazy stories and stuff. Real deal. So people ask us, fuck yeah, we are. It is real. It's not bullshit. It's like, so from experience, a lot of these songs come from, right? It seems like lately a lot of the songs are about heartbreak and leaving women behind. So I don't know what's
Experience and feelings too, right?
Mhm.
Feelings too.
Yeah, what we're feeling.
Yeah.
Stories. And some come from stories.
Stories, yeah.
No names. No names. Just stories. Yeah.
All names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yep. Exactly.
Someone can hear that song and they relate to it maybe in a different manner than what you write about it. You keep it a little bit ambiguous. They hear that song and sometimes it strikes a chord in that person. It can. If
I can write a song and I play it for somebody and they're singing along to it, I know I'm on to something.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice feeling when someone starts singing along, and even better if they're not your friend or your family, and you're just like, I don't know, it's just it's something. That's something to you.
Yeah, even if you just influence one person, if you make one person happy in this world, you've done something.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Can't beat that feeling. Mm-hmm. So
that's one of the secrets of life, which people don't. I always tell people, you want a secret of happiness? help people, help somebody. Not only are you helping that person, you're getting a feeling, a boost because you helped them. So big time. Just even one person, absolutely.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. My own personal story, when I started doing these kind of shows, I was bringing people on that were, entrepreneurs, or they were some kind of life coach or something, and I would try to get some kind of story out of them that could help to bring some positivity, a little motivation to people's lives. And to have just one person message me and thank me for that it helped them, that meant everything in the world, that
Mhm.
I'd accomplished what I'd set out to do. I mean, of course, it's great if you have millions of people love you, but if you could just make one person happy.
Yeah.
Mhm. You're here. Yep.
So, another big question for you. What is the mark that you want to leave on this world before you go?
The mark we want to leave on this world before we go.
What
Well,
do
I
you
think
want to
we're
be
going-
known for?
What do you want to? I think first of all that we were decent, decent to people,
Man,
you know.
those were good guys.
Yeah, but
Have a
all
drink
those
with.
guys could party.
They were fun.
They treated us well and they gave us the best party of our lives. That's So.
They were a bunch of outlaws, but man, they were fun.
Hey, but man, they were outlaws. They stole my car, but then they fixed the tire and brought it back. Some decent outlaws.
Probably do that.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So us people here in the United States, say we've never been to Canada, and we come up to your area, what are we going to do for fun?
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
You tell me. You live there. You got to tell me what can I expect to do if I came up there?
Well, if you're coming up to British Columbia, where we are, come out in the wilderness, lots of lakes, rivers, the outdoors.
Here to that, right?
Beautiful, beautiful. Summertime and spring, you'll love it. But when it's cold out, I don't know. We just do a lot of drinking. We're either drinking or in the woods drinking. So.
Our live music scene goes up and down.
Mhm.
I would say, for venues wise, right? It's true.
Yeah.
Certain years, a couple of years it's good, and all of a sudden it goes down, it's up, and then it's dance music, and then it's like.
Yeah. We used to have probably a dozen or so places to play live. That's maybe cut in half.
Mm.
As the trends change and things change. But I got a feeling things are slowly coming back, though.
We're probably gonna start
We're up-
promoting our own.
Yeah, we're gonna start putting on our own shows. So
Rent a place and just.
Oh, there you go.
never let that sort of thing stop us. So just get our own place.
If you're hanging with me on a Thursday night, there's a great little pub called the Bear Lounge in Burnaby. Thursday night, it's karaoke, and it's got the best karaoke. They've canceled it since COVID. I'm hoping for it to come back, but people from all around come to this particular karaoke night, Thursday night, mind you, and it's got the latest last call in Burnaby. And I know the bartender, so after 3:00 a.m., he kicks everyone out, but he keeps me and my friends there. We can stay till 6. And of course, you get all these sort of kind of party people hanging out there all night long. Super fun. And you do karaoke, and no matter if you suck at singing or you're the best superstar, you get a big round of applause. They make you feel good. And I've had we actually wrote a song. It's called At the Bear. You may have seen that. I'll show you on your TikTok there.
If you're into, I'm sure most male men are, we got the finest exotic dancers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is
Operated.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
Slim pickings of places, but they're
Highly regarded.
It's a good time.
Highly regarded. Yeah.
So if you came here, that's where we take you first. If you like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if the old lady would let me do that, but
you don't have to tell her.
just tell her, it doesn't matter if I get my appetite, honey. I'm eating at home tonight, though.
there you go. Just wetting the whistle here a little, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the stereotypical Bob and Doug McKenzie, what I should expect.
No.
A little bit on mine.
No way, eh?
How's it going, eh?
Yeah.
Cosmopolitan.
You hosers.
Holy shit.
Be a hoser, eh?
I haven't heard that in so long.
Oh man,
I
I
always-
love that.
Mhm.
Oh, speaking of hosers, one of the best shows out of Canada, Trailer Park Boys. Are you a fan of that show?
Yes, I have seen that.
Mhm.
Yes. One of my personal favorites.
That's
You
a
can
good
watch-
Canadian show. Actually, they break into the Rush concert in one episode, the Trailer Park Boys.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
Sebastian
Miracle
Bach.
thinks, Miracle thinks he's Bubbles.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Yeah, was trying to think of what. Oh yeah, Anvil's from Canada, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Well,
Yeah, have you
Metal
seen
on
that?
metal.
Have you seen that documentary they did on him?
Yeah, that was great. That was really good.
Very good.
hmm They ended up opening for AC/DC. They opened for AC/DC when that documentary came out. Which is, yeah, I was really happy for them.
Yeah, it kind of like brought a renewed love for the band after that
Yeah.
came out.
Mhm.
totally did.
Yeah.
Well, you know why that documentary was presented in a real manner. They didn't cover up any blemishes. Here we are, just kind of like you. We're just working hard and we're trying to make it in the business. I think a lot of people related to that documentary. I thought it was very well done,
Oh yeah.
no doubt.
So and Celine Dion from there too.
Yeah, she's a little. She's from out east, Quebec.
Well, I mean, she's from Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we still hadn't forgive you for that. So
That's okay.
Is she still doing her Vegas thing, or is it
Yeah.
Aerosmith's down there now?
I think she's out of Vegas now. Yeah, Celine.
Aerosmith's got the Vegas thing now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and then I think Shania Twain. She's Canadian, so I think she took over for Celine in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Album out that.
as long as I just see her, I don't have to hear her, then that's okay.
Mhm.
I agree.
yeah,
But-
we got them. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Billy Idol's doing a Vegas show now.
No way.
You know what? I
Bill-
hear he's still pretty good.
Oh,
A friend of mine went a couple years ago, and he said he still got it. He was good.
Yeah. It's amazing how some of those old guys still got it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite singers of all time, Paul Rogers.
Oh,
The
yeah.
guy's still got the chops, and he's what in his 70s now.
Paul Rogers is local. He lives local.
Does he really?
He lives just outside of Vancouver in White Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Local guy.
That's true. He does.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's right.
I did not know that.
See, now you got more of a reason to come here.
More of
That's
a
probably
reason.
one of his. That's probably one of his like little weekend getaways or something.
Yeah.
Oh, he's main residence here.
Is it really?
No kidding.
Loves
Man.
it.
Well, I mean, we've got Willie here. We've got Robert Plant lives here.
Oh wow, nice. Big
Uh,
Zepp fans.
Can't remember which one, but one of the guys from Aerosmith lives here. In fact, I lived like 10 minutes from that guy's house, but of course you could
Oh,
never get
wow.
up there. But yeah, it's just big music scene here. Lots of people here.
Some of my favorite bands are from Texas. Band number one, well, 1A would be Pantera, ZZ Top, right there. And there's a newer band that I saw in Vancouver a couple years ago called Mothership. They're a Texas band.
Mhm.
Yo, check it out.
Mhm.
Pantera, I got to see those guys live. Awesome show.
Saw them 7 times.
No kidding.
Every single tour they came to Vancouver, I went to see. And I just loved it. So much attitude, and it was just awesome. You know, you just love it. Right. And actually, they did a great record with Dave Allan Coe. I don't know if you heard that record.
I didn't know they did one with David Allan Coe.
Vinnie Paul and Dimebag, the two brothers, did a full album with David Allan Coe.
I did not know that. And I love David Allan Coe.
It's 100% metal country with Dave Allan Coe doing all the vocals. 10 songs.
No kidding. I'm gonna have to look that up.
And there's a couple of videos they made too, like well-produced videos. So I would, if I were you, right after this interview, first thing you do, write this down, type in Dave Allan Coe Pantera, and watch their videos. You'll blow your mind.
I'm definitely gonna do that.
Doing it right now.
Mhm.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks again.
So
Did
y'all,
anyone of the act was Rebel Meets Rebel. That's what they called themselves.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Mhm.
It's
They recorded the album when the singer Phil Anselmo kind of left the band for a while. He was doing Super Joint Ritual, and the two brothers were just sort of spinning their wheels in Texas. But they were friends with Dave Allan Coe, and so they just did a whole album with him, and it's actually super awesome. And Dave Allan Coe actually plays one of Dimebag's guitars. He's got a Confederate flag guitar Dimebag gave him. So
man,
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you get canceled for that now.
I know.
Do y'all get affected by that very much up there?
Yes, it's
Similar.
we're similar. I find it similar, yeah.
I
In
think
America.
those things are occurring, and
Except more like
you just kind of, you can fight it or just go with it, but it's I don't know what to say about it. We try not to mix too much politics with our
Mhm.
stuff. It just
Yeah.
doesn't blend. It creates too much division, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think
we try.
Reba McEntire just said someone tried to get her in some kind of political discussion, and she said, "I'm going to repeat what I've been saying for the last 30 years. I don't get involved in politics. Thank you very much."
Dolly Parton will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. And Brian Johnson of AC/DC, he said, "We like talking politics in the studio, but we don't sing about it." And I was like, "Oh,
if it says something wrong, that's it.
yeah."
Boom.
Well, I've always said that I didn't want to bring politics into the show because you get enough of that as it is.
Mhm.
Number two, like you said, it brings division, and I'm trying to bring people together to bring a little bit of some positivity in their life, and I don't care what side of the fence you're on. And I mean, it starts too many arguments, and I don't want to be canceled. But if you want to talk about politics away from the show, I don't mind giving you my opinion.
Mhm.
But be prepared for it. You may not like it, but I'll give it to you.
Mhm.
But I don't
Well,
stifle anybody either. If you come on here, you have something to say. I don't ever try to stifle anyone.
Well,
I'm sorry,
you
Mike.
speak about politics and stuff. For example, my Facebook page, it's called social media. It's not called, I'm going to spout about my political views. And
Mhm.
those people I just block or delete. You try to be social.
Friends of ours.
Mhm.
It's in private. It's a private conversation. So I basically got now my Facebook feed is nothing but music coming in. I only want it to be positive and I want it to be good. As soon as I hear, and unfortunately, COVID has brought to the surface some negative opinions from some of my colleagues or friends, right? So again, I don't call them out on it. I just politely block and I don't discuss it, right?
Yeah.
And just try to remain positive and be
Mhm.
inclusive.
Yeah. As I said, there's enough of that going on out there. We don't, and you're trying to be social. There's enough in this world that's trying to keep us from being social.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, which I love music because that seems to bring people together.
Mhm.
Sports used to do that. You didn't have to have that much in common with the person sitting next to you at a ball game, but if you were rooting for the same team, then you were best friends, at least for that time you're there watching the game.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
You got to remember, sophisticated politicians don't give a crap about you.
No,
They're
no.
trying to wedge you, and my whole opinion is they're there so they don't have to work. Most of these people, like, I don't want to have a real job. I want to just get it off your back, right? So they try to create a wedge, and I don't allow that to occur.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I see them for
We're
what they
wedge free.
are, right?
Yeah.
Got to be wedge free.
They
Wedge
don't
free.
they don't want people to join together.
No.
That's scary for the government to know that all the people are joining together against them.
Well, you said it. A lot of things have been politicized these days. You look at the whole COVID scenario, politicized, taken over, hijacked by politicians, and now you can hardly tell what's real and what's not real anymore. It's just and that's, for that matter, a lot of different things through social media, through everyone's on a phone connected. It's very easy to sway people, you know. And as we move towards the future here, it's going to get even more scarier. You know, you see now these deep fake videos. I don't know if you see it, check some of those out. But they have, you know, it's like you can get up any person you want, create a video, and it's that actual person speaking something that they haven't never spoken in the first place. So we're moving into a future that's definitely somewhat scary, you know, as far as control over us people, no
Well,
doubt.
Look how quickly you can edit stuff. I
Yes.
mean, I've gotten to where I do edit my videos. It takes me an hour and I'm done. And now people can do it on their phones, so they can make you say whatever they want you to say.
Exactly. Yeah. And that technology is becoming more available to everyone. And yeah, it's scary. It's just kind of the part of the future we're going to be prepared for, that we're moving into. It happened rapidly too. Just look how fast smartphones and Facebook and everything from the time it started to now. You know, give that same amount of time, another 10 years, where are we going to be?
Yeah.
True.
You know?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just listening to someone talk about when they installed radios into cars in the 50s, I think it was. And he thought that was the worst idea possible because people were being distracted drivers. And then that radio program where they said the aliens invaded, it was kind of a joke, but everyone thought it was real.
Oh yeah.
And that was their first experience with media on the whole. And so it's like we're relearning how to be critical thinkers. If you go on the radio now and someone says the aliens have landed, you'd be like, I don't think so. But we have to relearn now different critical thinking. So it's like a new technology, and you got to get a new set of brains. So, but I got an old brain, so I'll see how I do.
Yeah, I can testify to that.
You know, it's not all negative though. You got to think about it. You've got basically in the palm of your hand the knowledge of the entire planet. You know, whatever, you just say something and boom, you got the answer. So that's a positive. It's not all negative. It is rapidly expanding technology, and as a human beings, we have to be prepared for that. But you know, human beings, we are advanced, and I think we'll be able to rise to the challenge. But there's definitely challenges coming for us as a species.
Yeah. The new technology has made it possible for us to record at home.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know, and especially during COVID, the technology has gotten really good and affordable. Now I could record my bass tracks at home with it, decently, quite good quality. We can send to the studio. And a few years ago, maybe I wouldn't be able to have that quality and affordability and ease, you know. So the good thing about technology for music, I guess it's how you use it. So for us, we got a lot of recording done. And so, and it's affordable for the average working man like us. So,
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword, I guess, for y'all, because I mean, one, you don't really need records and CDs anymore. So, you know, everything you can pull up on Spotify or Pandora or whatever. So y'all have to, I guess, work that much harder to just going out and playing gigs to make your money. But then again, you also get more exposure because you put stuff on YouTube or on social media, and then everybody knows who you are. So
exactly.
Yeah, make your money on YouTube, I guess.
we're trying. Yeah, that is. Yeah, slowly we're getting there. Yeah, yeah, it's true. I mean, music's free for the most part now. You're right. We get the exposure. You know, so yeah. So, but I guess we're trying to do it ourselves until, we got a little bit of notice and stuff, but, we're still doing it ourselves, and we can. We sent out a song a couple years ago. Actually, our first sort of country song was called New Outlaw. That was the name of the song, actually. Written by Steve, who's not here. It was about Randy Travis. And Steve really likes Randy Travis, wrote a song about him. And we just sent it out to radio stations across Canada, and there was a few stations that started playing it. And it was really great. Yeah, it was a really great moment for us. We like Randy, we like the song. And also to know that us, just average dudes, could do it. And all we did was send it out. And the worst they can say is no, it didn't cost us nothing. And then we realized, you know what, you got a song, just send it out there. if someone likes the song, they'll play it. And if they don't like it, well, you know, that's fine. But you got to try. So we did, and then so that's what we continued with the country stuff, rebranded as a New Outlaw Band, and got some different stuff together. And so that was our thing. So thank you, Randy. He kind of, I guess he was the kind of the root of all this. Yeah.
One thing about that, Johnny, the whole song is about when Randy Travis got arrested, naked, high on coke with a gun. Remember that? That's what the whole song's about.
Yeah.
New outlaw. The new move over Wayland is a new outlaw in town.
Yeah.
About Randy. And like we when we heard that story, go Randy Travis arrested naked with a gun. What the hell? So yeah, great song though.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's on YouTube actually. You'll find it.
Well, you can't be a real country artist until you've been arrested naked. So, or as David Allen Coe says, you got a mom out of prison, and
My mom out of prison. Yeah,
Got
that's
to run over by a damn boat train.
yeah, right.
actually that song. Hank 3 just did a cover of that song.
Oh no
Hank
way!
3. He just
He
released
didn't
it.
write that song either.
So he did it 3 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago.
Who was it?
Amazing cover.
Oh.
I gotta
Check it out. Hank 3.
No kidding. And I do like Hank Williams III. So I'm
Mhm.
Grandpa, Daddy, and third. Yep.
I got a good Hank 3 story for you actually.
Oh, cool. Go for it.
He's playing in Vancouver with Reverend Horton Heat, another great Texas resident. So they're playing at the Commodore Ballroom. I'm in the back alley, kind of hanging out, and out comes Hank 3, and he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, do you know where this one bar is? Where the hell was that bar? The upstairs bar. What's that bar, Johnny, downtown upstairs?
Oh, Railway Club?
Railway Club. You know where the Railway Club is?" I go, "Yeah, follow me." So it's me, Hank 3, and some manager and some groupie going up about 3-4 blocks up to the bar. It's Saturday night, so the bar is packed, always hard to get into. So we get up to the top of the stairs, get in the door, and the bouncer's there. He's like, "Can't go in, full." I go, "This is Hank 3, Hank 3." And then some people in the bar saw that it was Hank 3. And they go, "Let that guy in, let him in." So they let us in. There we are in the bar. Hank 3, myself, his manager,
I'll be
his
back.
girl. Fuck, so we're drinking, and then the manager goes, "I gotta go to the washroom. Keep an eye on Hank." So don't worry, I'll keep an eye on him. The manager's gone. The second he's gone, Hank spots him gone. He dashes out of there, down the stairs, and I'm going, okay, I'm just sitting there drinking. The manager comes back, "Where's Hank?" "Well, he left." "Go get him." We ran downstairs, and Hank is getting into a cab into the night, gone. And the manager's running down the street, trying to catch a cab, and God knows where he went. That was my story. I have very little recollection of the conversation with Hank that night, or what the hell we even talked about. It was a long time ago, but I remember it was fun. And I remember Hank was wrangly and kind of wild, but he was a perfect gentleman, but he trying to get away from his road manager.
Oh no.
I'm not sure where he went that night, but he was gone.
One of my favorite stories, and it actually was a big deal for me, was I went to a Poison concert. And mind you, I wasn't much of a Poison fan when I was in high school, but they would come through Houston and do what they called a glam fest, where they'd get a whole bunch of the hair metal bands from back then and put on a show. And my little brother had an extra ticket, and he said, "Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not? You know, see a few of the bands that I liked from back then." And anyway, so I got to go. I saw Poison, and they actually put on a really good show, and I was impressed. Anyway, my little brother ended up committing suicide. And so we kind of made it a tradition that every year that they would come, we would go to the show just for him, you know. And one year, my first wife and her friend, we all went, and Ricky Rocket threw his drumstick out into the crowd. And anyway, my wife's friend caught it, and it had a sticker on there for a backstage pass. Well, so we went, and she's like, oh, I can't leave y'all out here. I'm like, are you kidding? This is maybe a once in a lifetime thing. So go ahead. Don't worry about us. Well, the bouncer actually kind of felt sorry for us, so he let us come in with her. So I'm like,
Nice.
cool. So
Yeah.
Ricky Rocket walks up to us, and I'm telling him the story about my little brother, and he just comes up and he gives me a big hug, and he's like, man, that's like freaking greatest story. And that moment was like really special for me.
Right on.
Wow.
That's real nice.
Some of
How
those
old was he?
guys are nice.
Yeah.
Mhm, I believe it.
That
What's
story.
it?
I met Steven Tyler. Fucking.
How
What
was he?
year? Oh my God, it was had to have been 2001.
Really
Okay.
2000,
So
20 years.
almost about 20 years ago.
Hmm.
Freaking nuts.
Wow.
That's nice. That's real cool of the band to do that.
Super nice.
Yeah.
You
Whenever,
do-
whenever they come to town, I'm assuming you go.
Oh well, I mean, when they hadn't
Mhm.
been back in I don't know how long. They quit doing it for a long time, and I don't know why they quit doing it. I thought people still had an interest in it.
Yeah. Well, I know that Def Leppard, Motley Crue, and Joan Jett, and someone else, they're going to pick up their tour down in Seattle.
I think they were
Do like a rock tour, yeah.
I think so. All these bands were starting to tour again
Yeah,
before this
they're
whole
all-
COVID thing.
Yeah.
I think Poison was on tour.
Hmm.
Playing again.
I think they get bored at home. Like, you know?
What's his
Yeah.
name? Brett Michaels is doing his
Oh, Bret Michaels on TV, yeah.
his TV shows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
is he still doing that thing where he dates all those women or whatever?
any married.
That was a pretty sleazy show.
Hey, we met CC DeVille down in LA in way back. I'm not gonna say a year.
Mhm,
Early 90s.
mhm.
Early
Wow.
90s, yeah.
Man. Well, I tell you, some of these guys, they still got it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look at Bruce Springsteen. You know, he's still look at Mick Jagger. He's what is he, almost 80? He just released a new song a few months ago. It's killer. It's like a killer rock song
Dave Grohl?
with Dave Grohl.
No
I'm just
kidding.
like, yeah, it's a great rock song by just Mick Jagger on his own. Google that after, and good rocker.
Man, I was a big Stones fan too.
Yeah, and he's like, but they were on tour. They were going to go on tour before COVID. They were supposed to come here,
Yeah, we bought
and we were
tickets.
really bummed.
We spent $1,000 on tickets for the Stones. And when I bought them, I knew COVID was coming. I go, it's a gamble. Did I buy or not to buy? I bought them. And a week later, they shut everything down. So my tickets are still there, waiting for them to come back. But I would say Stones, one of our top acts.
Oh yeah, I've always loved them.
Yeah, number one.
And they do everything. They do blues, country, rock, reggae, you name it. And we like their versions of everything. But see, they do their versions of it. It's the same like us. We do our versions of country. We do our versions of blues and our versions of rock, you know. So kind of keep it real, and we really like that. So we listen to the new stuff a little bit. Like Chris Stapleton. We really like what he's doing. But we try to do it our own way as well. So we don't just come out like everyone else. So like Kenny Rogers, he was a jazz singer. And he was talking, he loved Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson, those guys. He loved them so much, but he goes, I don't want to do what they do. I want to do it my own way and see what happens. And he stuck to his guns and did this thing.
Well, you know, Kenny Rogers started out as a pop singer,
Hmm.
and he got into the country music, and he became more successful.
Yeah.
You know, what was that movie he had? Was it called Six Pack? I think. You remember that? Back in the 80s.
I'll look it up though. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was called.
Six pack. But he said anywhere he went in the world, he went on an African safari into villages that don't speak a word of English. And they'd all come up to him and bring a copy of his CD and show him.
No way.
Because any part of the world he went to, people love that song, The Gambler. And they would sing it to him. And he had no idea how big this song was. And it really, really touched him. And he was so happy all the time. Yeah.
Well, that was his biggest movie.
Hmm.
yeah.
One of the bands I've been following the last couple of years, Blackberry Smoke. I really like them.
Ooh, Blackberry Smoke. I don't think I heard of them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
take a listen. They're really
They're good.
southern. They can be bluesy, gospel.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were supposed to come to Vancouver too, and then the whole COVID thing came, and they just actually released a new album, and
Mhm.
I really like them.
So do y'all get to hobnob with any of the acts around there?
Not really. I mean, if we bump into someone, yeah.
Like when
Mm.
there was a major recording studio here called, well, Brian Adams has his studio here.
Mhm.
I think the Army,
Yeah, yeah.
Army
the
or
Armory.
Warehouse.
Yeah.
There's another one called, so ACDC's always recording there.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, they're always in town.
And
Oh,
back in the day, there was a Little Mountain Sound. It
mhm.
was downtown, and everyone like, yeah, I met Motley Crue one day driving my car.
Yeah.
All those
No way.
guys, like
Bon
Tom
Jovi.
Lee, I think we met Bon Jovi twice in one week.
Yeah,
One
they were always here
It's funny.
recording. Yeah.
The Cult, and that's when I met Steven Tyler was recording in town.
Mhm.
And I went to see a concert, and I was standing on these stairs, and Steven Tyler walked by, and he started walking. He was, up the stairs, and Steven Tyler, and the guy turned around and walked down the stairs to say hi to me.
Hmm.
Nice to meet you, man. Yeah.
So what made you pick up the bass?
I was about when I was a kid. My best friend Sean, we're still friends to this day. He bought a drum kit about grade 6, and I wanted to play the drums. And then we were going to start a band, and we already had a drummer. So someone else told me, he goes, you know what? You want a life of music? Play the bass. There's a guitar player everywhere. Play the bass, man. And I was like, and I just bought a AC/DC High Voltage album, and the very first song was Live Wire, and the album starts with the bass line going dun 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 dun. Simplest, easiest bass line you ever heard. But for some reason, I thought it was the greatest thing I've ever heard. And I went out and bought a bass the next day, and that was it.
Is it easier than running with the devil?
It's about the same. You see, but that's what's nice about the bass. You can pick it up right away, and you almost have instant success. Something small you could learn, and then you could play one note, and that could be a note for a song. So and I don't know. And Cliff Williams, bass player of AC/DC, I just love his simplicity. Waylon Jennings bass lines. Oh God, that's awesome. And the easiest bass player I think, is John Paul Jones of Led Zeppelin.
Oh
He's
yeah.
good. But Bill Wyman of the Stones, we always said he was the Stones' secret weapon because his bass lines really made that music, and it's just incredible. So, and I've had the same bass for 25 years, 1975 Gibson Ripper, and
Really?
yeah, and it's been the constant. So me and this Ripper are going around town, around the world together, and
Trinidad.
we went to Trinidad, went through Europe, the States, Canada. So it survived. And it got banged up a lot. I dropped it a lot, unfortunately, but that's why it's perfect for me. Good for a klutz, you know what I mean? And it'll always fire, always play. So that's why I got on the bass.
Best bass player in the world.
Oh, best bass player in the world?
Don't say Jaco Pastorius.
Alive
I
or
won't say
dead?
Jaco what's that?
Alive or dead?
Alive or dead? God, it's hard. Different styles, but you know what? Maybe I gotta go. It's a tie for me between Bill Wyman and John Paul Jones.
John Entwistle.
Hmm Oh, Entwistle's good too. Yep,
Best I've ever heard.
he good.
He's-
And he
Right.
was they soloed his bass during a concert. All you heard was the bass line, live concert. It was flawless and perfect. And you're
Right.
just like, come on, So he's up there too. Yeah.
I mean, you just pick up a bass and his fingers would fly all over it, and
hmm
it's
And he
amazing.
makes it look so easy. That's the thing. He just, you think he's thinking about what he's having for lunch tomorrow.
Cut fingers off.
And then Who's Next is one of my favorite albums, and the stuff he's doing on there, it's just killer.
Heck yeah.
So I like the busy bass players, but there's something about the simplicity of, and especially in country music, those old country bass lines, the simplicity of it. It's hard to do well and hard to do right. and I had to listen and listen and listen and listen. So, you know, and there's those like Jaco Pastorius. We talk about him a lot for
Oh,
some
no.
reason. When I'm over playing, like, hey, Jaco, slow down, you know, and
You gotta tape a couple of his fingers together.
yeah, I'm playing too much, and they'll be like, hey,
Give him 2 fingers
yeah.
and slowly give him a third.
You know, so I really, really like the bass, and you know, and that's how I got into it. I fell in love with it right away. So I can play a little guitar, a little drums, but definitely the bass is something, I don't know. And the more I play, the more I love it. Never got bored. I really like it. So, and I like the bass I have. I'm happy I got it. A friend talked me into going to the pawn shop and seeing it. I denied him 3 times, kind of like Peter, I guess. And I finally got it, and this day I thank him. Like it's got a great tone. It's got everything I need, and it's perfect for me. So, and I got my dad gave me this watch, Seiko 1975. It's not worth nothing, but I don't know. For some reason, 1975 is following me around. Everything I love is 1975. So,
Man,
it's a good year for rock.
that's true. 70s were the best years, man.
Mhm.
Definitely. So what about you, Tulsa? What's your story? What got you into playing guitar
You
and
know what? I
singing?
started playing guitar when I was younger, and I was taking lessons. I said, screw it, put it under the bed.
Mhm.
Maybe like 5 or 6 years later, I took it out again, started jamming with my uncle who plays accordion, Eric D'Onofrio. He's like accordion player, Hammond B3 player. And then I met, Steve's not here, in Miracle. And basically, Steve taught me how to play guitar again, and that was back in who knows when.
Mhm.
And then I've just been writing songs, developing our craft as we go. And like I said, the last maybe 2 or 3 years is just tons of songs. I don't know, it gets to get mature, right? And all this stuff just comes out.
Mhm.
I think Steve writes a song a week.
Oh God, that guy.
He's got a whole book.
Mhm.
Keeps writing.
Oh
You're a
wow.
lunatic for singing. So we're missing a
I'm
key.
different. I'm like when I feel something, then I'll write.
Mhm.
I can be at work. I leave everything, push everything aside.
So
Things like
unfortunately, we're
that.
missing a key guy here, Steve,
Mhm.
my brother, and he's kind of like our conductor. He will point out that's the wrong note, that's the wrong this, that's the wrong that, and he was at work. He couldn't make it for tonight's interview, but
Aw.
myself, Tulsa, and Steve together, rose up and learned our craft, right? In high school pals. Right?
Man.
I came later. I'm like Jason Newsted. I came later.
There you go. Yeah, from
It was worth the wait.
Jason started out with Flotsam and Jetsam,
Yeah.
and where we used to live back in Cedar Park, Texas.
Mhm.
The guy that lived right next door was on tour with Flotsam and Jetsam. He was a drummer.
Oh wow.
Flipped me out, man. I'm like, no freaking way.
Hmm.
But so, favorite guitar player, favorite singer?
Oh. Favorite guitar player? I can't say I have one. I like Hendrix. What else? There's so many other artists. Jimmy Page. The list goes on and on and on. I can't name them all.
Oh, I heard
So I
that.
don't really have a favorite. Even modern Flash stuff like that. I love. Singer. I do like Van Morrison and Jim Morrison.
Jerk.
The Jerk. And some of the newer artists too. Chris Cornell and who else? I don't really think about it really anymore. I just do what I do
Mhm.
now.
But Steve isn't here, but he said that when he was first learning guitar, he would have AC/DC records. And back then there was you can't go on the internet and find the tablature of the music. He would slow down the record with his finger so he could pick up what the guitar players were doing. And that's how he would learn. Steve's got incredible ear. You know, he loved music so much he would just listen, and that guy, he's writing what, Mike, 3 songs a day? Something ridiculous like that.
Like I said earlier, Steve should be here for this interview. He is our
Yeah.
sort of musical maestro.
He's the heart of the band for sure. Yeah, he's the music's in his blood, man. Like this guy, if he was by himself on an island, he'd be writing 5 songs a day just because he had to. It just has to come out of him.
Man, amazing.
Mhm.
Working on this.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, buddy and I are working on it. Lap steel.
Oh, that's a knob.
Yeah, it's coming together. Except the wired it wrong, won't work.
Oh wow, we've been hearing about it. This is the first time we've seen it live.
That's version 2.
Getting there, getting there.
That's awesome, man.
That
We
is
want to
awesome.
put some lap steel in our.
Put the Steve Vai thing in there. Remember the Steve Vai guitar?
Yeah, I actually just watched a video that he did for his 61st birthday where he's holding on to the guitar just like that and playing with one hand.
Yeah, I go, let's put the Steve Vai handle in
That's
there.
awesome.
And it's gonna be able, you can be able to stand up too if you want. And then you just go fly it away.
Mhm. Oh, that's wicked, man.
I have to say,
Getting there.
Rick Emmett was actually the first person I ever saw play guitar with one hand. Amazing. So you're going to play guitar with one hand for us?
I don't think I can. You go like this, Hendrix style.
But Steve was sharing a story with us when Jerry Lee Lewis went to England to play a tour there, and Richie Blackmore was the guitar player that was supposed to back him up. And then when Richie Blackmore met Jerry Lee Lewis, with one hand he's soloing, and the other hand he's shaking Jerry Lewis's hand, and Jerry Lewis is going, "That's fucking cool, man." He's soloing as he's shaking his hand. So they were kind of birds of a feather.
Mhm.
Which I had no idea that Jerry Lee Lewis and Richie Blackmore were on the same stage together.
Me neither.
Neither did I.
That's incredible.
Yes.
I love Richie Blackmore. He's playing kind of like Renaissance music.
Yeah, he got hijacked by his wife. And a lot of these high-end guitar players, next thing you know, their wives are,
That's
I don't know what it is.
Hijacked.
Richie Blackmore,
Taking over this plane.
his wife is there. You know what I mean? I don't know what happens there, but that's a phenomenon.
Man,
Lives in a castle.
Lives in a castle. We're eventually, our future plans involve moving into a castle
okay.
out in Ireland somewhere,
In Ireland.
Yeah, it's the next step. That's the rock and roll, the steps towards rock star is the castle.
But anyway, thank you guys for joining in on this. I really appreciate you giving up the
Pleasure.
Oh, our
time,
pleasure. Thank you.
and I wish y'all all the success in the world. I have enjoyed the clips that I have seen on TikTok. Do you have a
Thanks.
YouTube?
Yes, we do.
Is it under the New Outlaw Band?
Yeah, you know what? I'll send you. We have a Linktree link.
Okay.
And I'll send that to you, and then there's everything there. We just got a song back from the studio. It's just been mixed, Midnight Cowgirl, and then a second song should be coming this week or next. Leave It All Behind, and we'll probably release those two together by the end of the month, and we'll be sure to send those to you.
I appreciate that.
See what you think. So
Well, I definitely would like to have y'all back on in the future. If y'all get some stuff kicked up and you want to promote it, please let me know. I'll be glad to
Will
do
do.
so.
Yeah, thanks.
no, it's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, it's
So
been fun.
appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, y'all have a Facebook page?
Yep.
Whole deal. Instagram,
Instagram.
Facebook, YouTube. Yeah.
The tweeter,
Johnny takes care of that.
whatever the kids are calling it nowadays, Twitter, tweeter.
But, TikTok right now is from what I understand and people are telling me is bigger than all of that now. So yeah. Well, that's how we found each other on TikTok. So
Exactly.
wasn't for that. Yeah. So.
Nobody has anything better to do but make stupid videos all day. So
Find that they're filming their cats or their grandparents, and the grandparents are screaming at them, "Please, no TikTok," and then they get guaranteed 1 million views. Yeah.
well, Johnny, Tulsa, Mike, the New Outlaw Band. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thanks, Kyle.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate everybody that tunes in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks,
Thank
Kyle.
Oh,
you.
man, thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network and on Instagram at The Vibes Broadcast.